gather round the campfire. It's time for Snuggle Wrap. The stars are out, the fire crackles softly, and every breeze carries a story stitched with wonder, warmth, and sweet words from our Bible. Tonight's story glows like an ember, gentle enough for little hearts, deep enough for dreaming souls. So, find your favorite blanket, settle in close, and let your thoughts drift to the stars. Tonight's verse is, I come in the name of the Lord. 1 Samuel 17:45. Every story is a hug, and this one is just for you. A long time ago, two armies stood on opposite hills. One side had a giant named Goliath the Athos, loud and terrifying. The other side was Israel, God's chosen people, but they were afraid. Among them was a shepherd boy named David. He wasn't a soldier, he didn't wear armor, he was just a boy. But shepherd boys were brave. They had to chase away lions and bears to keep the sheep safe. What Israel didn't know was that one day David would become their king. This is the story of how a boy with faith faced a giant without fear. How courage rose from someone so young. And one stone changed everything. Are you ready to hear what happened in the valley? He wasn't just tall, he was terrifying. Goliath of Gath stood over 9 feet high. His armor clanked like thunder. His voice echoed through the valley. Every morning he shouted, "Choose a man and have him come down to me. If I win, you serve us." But no one moved, not even King Saul, not his soldiers, not even the bravest men. For 40 days Goliath mocked them, and for 40 days Israel stayed silent. This wasn't just a battle of swords, it was a battle of the mind by using fear. Goliath didn't need to fight, he just needed to stand there, and everyone froze. But here's something most people don't know. Goliath had 4 brothers. They were giants too. Lami, Ishbi-Benob, Sa'af, and one with 6 fingers on each hand. They were part of a family known for destruction, and Israel knew it. So when Goliath stepped forward, they didn't just fear one giant. They feared the shadow of 5, and no one wanted to be the first to fall. But that wasn't the whole story. David's older brothers were in the valley standing with the army, so David's father gave him some bread and said, "Go check on them." David ran to the battlefield, not to fight but to help. But when he got there, he heard something strange. A loud voice, a mean voice. It was Goliath, shouting, laughing, trying to scare God's people. David looked around. The soldiers were quiet, afraid. So David asked, "Who is this man talking like that to the army of the living God?" His voice wasn't angry, just curious, because David knew something they had forgotten. God was bigger than any giant. While others saw a giant, David stood tall in faith. David didn't speak to show off. He spoke because he trusted God. He knew something important. God doesn't get scared the way people do. God sees things differently, and with God, even a little boy can do big things. David looked at the soldiers. They were strong and tall, but no one wanted to fight Goliath. So David asked, "Why are you all afraid?" "I'm not afraid. I'll fight him." The soldiers were surprised. "You're just a boy," they said. But David stood tall in his heart. "I take care of my sheep," he said. "When a lion or a bear comes, I chase it away. God helped me then, and he'll help me now." So they took David to King Saul. The king gave David his armor, big and heavy, but it didn't fit. David shook his head. "I don't need this," he said. Then he walked down to the river and picked up 5 smooth stones. Not because he was afraid, but because he was prepared. Goliath had 4 brothers. David was ready for all 5, and when he stepped into the valley, he ran toward the roar. David stood before the giant. Goliath sneered. "Am I a dog, that you come at me with sticks?" he growled. "You're just a boy." But David didn't flinch. David said, "You come with sword and spear, but I come in the name of the Lord." Right then, David reached into his pouch. He took one stone. He placed it in his sling. He swung it once, twice. Pop! Just like that, the stone flew through the air and the giant fell. Not just Goliath, but the fear he carried. At that moment, a boy became a warrior. David didn't just defeat a giant. He changed minds. He reminded everyone, faith wins battles. But the story didn't end there. Years later, Goliath's brothers rose again, and this time David wasn't alone. His mighty men stepped forward. Warriors like Elhanan, who defeated Lahmi, Abishai, who stopped Ishbi-benob, Sibbecai, who took down Saph, and one brave man who faced the six-fingered giant and won. These weren't just victories. They were echoes of David's faith in a powerful God, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Because when one person believes, others are watching, and some learn to follow. And today, we still face giants, not always real giants with armor, but maybe someone big and strong who tries to make you feel small. Maybe it's a hard day, or a mean word, or a moment when you feel unsure, but the way to stand strong hasn't changed. You don't need to be the biggest, you just need to trust God and step forward, because giant slaying isn't about size, it's about seeing what God sees, and when you do, giants fall, and courage grows in others too. You don't have to be perfect. You don't have to be the biggest. You just have to be willing to trust God, willing to stand tall, willing to say, I believe God is with me, because when you step forward, you help others be brave too. David didn't just stop a giant, he helped everyone remember what faith looks like. And now, it's your turn. All right, campers, that was the story of David and Goliath. David's stone didn't just stop a giant. It showed the world that God is strong and his love never fails. And even now, that stone still speaks. I come in the name of the Lord. It speaks when you choose kindness. It speaks when you stand up for what's right. It speaks when you trust God, even when things feel scary. Because David's story wasn't the end, it was the beginning. One day, another shepherd came, not with a sling, but with love. Not to fight one giant, but to save every heart. His name is Jesus. He didn't run away from danger. He walked right into it for you. And when he gave his life, he made a way for you to be brave forever. So when you feel small, or when the world feels loud, remember, Jesus is with you, and he already won. You don't need to roar. You just need to whisper, God is with me, because even a whisper of faith can change everything. You are chosen. You are brave. You are part of God's story. Let your life shine with his love.